Good evening to all, and thank you for joining us tonight. Sounds like we have a little background interference, but at any rate, thank you. Thank you for joining Karen's Carrots tonight. This is another episode of Karen's Carrots. I hope you're all doing well out there and that you're somewhere happy and safe. How's that? Well, as most of you may know, but for any newcomers who have joined us this evening, I am Karren Henderson, and I empower EAs who assist and support C level executives to transform from the traditional executive assistant to business strategic partners to their executives by strengthening their emotional intelligence skills or soft skills to level up without increasing stress. So, thank you all. You're in for a treat tonight. And I'm sure for most of you, this will be a welcome treat because the information affects you directly. And let me say before we go any further, tonight's episode of Karen's Carrots is brought to you by my 30-day self-awareness journal, a guide to boost your intelligence. So, moving right along, let me introduce our special guest tonight. None other than my friend, former schoolmate, my sister, my bookkeeper, my tax assistant, Ms. Verna Johnson. Miss
Hello.
Verna Johnson, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad she's here. She is the founder and CEO of Vernacular Services, LLC. She's spent over 30 years in her career in the service of the Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Services as a frontline manager in domestic, international, and business taxes. Verna says she decided to use that skill to help others with tax preparation and resolution services all year. So I obviously value her, let alone welcome her here tonight. But Verna, I'll let you tell people a little bit more about you and the fantastic services you bring to our community with your expertise.
Oh, thank you, Karen. First, thank you for having me on your show. I'm so excited about that, and giving me an opportunity to introduce others with introducing others into what I do. Yes, I do taxes. I do record keeping. Um, and of course, I did in financial services. But my heart really is out to help people, basically because God has given me that talent to be able to do what I just mentioned, with no hassle. And so, because of that, I'm in a position where I can help you, with your record keeping. Our entrepreneurs, you're working, all day. You have a lot on your plate. You may forget to, I don't know, save a receipt. You may forget to copy it or put it in your QuickBook, But with me, all you need to do is put all your stuff in one place and hand it to me. You know what I mean? And I'll take care of that for you. I have a service that I do provide. It's not, real. It's not expensive, and as well as I'm doing taxes for you. You know, I believe that people shouldn't have to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars to get their taxes done. I mean, tax preparation is free. To submit your taxes is free, basically. But I understand that a lot of people don't like to mess around with it. They don't want to play with the IRS. A lot of people don't understand the language. They don't know, So I understand that. But I offer you tax services at affordable prices because how about you work hard for your money? We pay taxes all day, every day. Every day, they take taxes out of our paycheck. And then at the end of the year, we want all our money for real. But that normally doesn't happen. But what I would like to point out, however, is that if you are a business owner, um, working from home, then there's a lot of tax breaks that you have. And I will mention that later on. But it's a lot of tax breaks that you have. And at the end, I want you to be sure that your accountant did hook you up with those breaks.
Verna, I have a question. Why are we so intimidated and fearful of, I'm going to say, even attempting to do our taxes? And I was one of those people, and you kept telling me, Karren, you can do your taxes yourself. But I just rather rely on your expertise until finally I took some steps, but still you were over my shoulder. Why are people so intimidated when you lay out exactly how they can do their own taxes?
Yeah. Well, no one wants to owe. No one's trying to go to jail. No, nobody want to be fined. If you're not familiar with the language, then you don't want to do something you don't understand. You know what I mean? You don't understand it. And so, guys, what I do is I will teach you how to do your own taxes. And if you're not comfortable with that, I'll do them for you. But my goal is to show you because again, it's an income opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that one of the main benefits of your expertise is telling us what we don't know, not simply just filling out the form, but what benefits we have, some things we may have overlooked. And I have, and I'm sure others have heard this expression, that the income tax code was written for small business owners. What say you to that?
Well, thank God for the for the tax code, number one. But if you're running a business, whether it's small or I don't know if you're a big corporation, if you're a big corporation, then you're on a whole totally different scale. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a small business and you're working from home, then these tax breaks are great. They're great.
So if someone is keeping, give us tips or information for that person who feels they can keep track of their own records.
Right. And so, absolutely, you can keep track of your own records if you have the time to do that, the mileage and all that kind of stuff. But I did create a newsletter. It's entitled IRS and Record Keeping. And what I have included in there is the top 3 tax deductions. And the first tax deductions that is a really big one is your vehicle. I believe that your vehicle is the biggest tax deduction, that you have. And a home-based business may have it, a small business, maybe have a building that you're working out of. If you're still doing a 1040, you'll be able to do that as well. You know what I mean? But if you're working out of your home, there's a lot of breaks for that as well. I mean, you're working out of your home, you're running your business, so you have the ability to write off your utilities and things of that nature to help you reduce your taxes. And so the article that I have does cover that. And of course, if you're interested in receiving that, all you need to do is drop your email address and I can send it to you.
Okay. So another question I had when you were saying that, it left me. So go ahead, continue with the tips.
So I did say the your vehicle, but I think most of us already know that your vacationing is 100% deductible as long as you're on vacation to do business. So I think that we all are aware of that.
So
And
tell us how we substantiate that, in terms of you're going on vacation and you know you're going to have a meeting. Do you have to have that documented prior to going?
um, Well, if you're going away to a meeting, you should have that documentation. The IRS is always going to want documentation. If you get audited, they're going to want to see it. And so that's why your receipts are so important. We know that they fade. So I have a system where they do not. Um, but you always have to show proof if they question you. So, you had one business event, you went away for that event, right? Whatever your ticket, you had to get a ticket or something for that. That's your proof that you had an event. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And everything else on that date, because of that, is a write off. Your
Okay.
train, your hotel fare, your tips, all that.
Okay. All right. So, in terms of working out of your home and utilities and such, is there a formula for determining how much of your utility is actually a part of your business?
It is. So they do want to know what portion of your home are you using for your business. Like, say you act like, don't mark me with these numbers. It's just, say you whatever square footage it is of the area that you use for your home office, that percentage is the percentage that you're going to get for your um cuts on your utilities. Okay.
Okay.
That's what it go by, the percentage that you use on your home.
Okay. And what about different equipment? Your computer, your
Mhm.
telephone.
Right. So
How is that measurement determined?
yeah. So like those are depreciable assets that you have there. And so whatever furniture you buy for your home, for your business, it's all appreciable or depreciable. So you want to make sure that they get entered on your tax return so that each year you can get some credit against it. So that's everything. I mean, you bought a carpet for your office, you bought a desk for your office, your computer. Say you bought your computer in 2019, you're still using that computer today in 2021. How about you still should be reporting that computer on your taxes?
Okay. So other forms of in business entrepreneurs are using, maybe they're using PayPal, let's say, and they may be using other platforms as well. Although these are, I believe, less considered business like if they're using Cash App, Venmo, and the like. How does those business transactions with those financial financial platforms, how do they play into filing your taxes? What should you be looking for there? Do they all generate reports?
Yeah. So I'm only familiar with PayPal. I have a client that used PayPal for their business, and actually everything was electronically with this customer. When they ever whatever transaction they did through PayPal, I got a copy of it. It just made it so easy for me to keep their records for them and everything. Because you want to have records of your transactions, and you want them to be in order.
Well, I didn't check our chat. It seems we have some questions. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Judith. One of the questions here is, what if you talk business when you go out to dinner? Is this a receipt for using when filing taxes?
Why not? You on it, you're having dinner, all of a sudden you're talking about your business, maybe you're recruiting, or maybe it turns into a business dinner. You just want to make sure you're conducting business.
Okay, let's see. As a small business owner, what's the best way to save the receipts? We were just talking about this.
Yeah. So, well, you're doing your own taxes, you're saving your own receipts. We know that they fade, and we know that at the end of the day, that's what the IRS want to see. If they're questioning something, they don't want to see nothing written down on a spreadsheet. They want to see that receipt that shows the transaction, and they fade. So you can easily scan that receipt and put it on a flash drive if that's what you want to do. But you do want to copy it. What I do initially, I was just writing on the receipt, writing the date and the amount on it. But since then, I've graduated to scanning that receipt onto a disc for the individual customer, so that I have all of their information on in one place for each year.
Um, I just recalled there's some apps out there that scan these receipts like immediately. Are those kinds of is that kind of apparatus or retaining of receipt acceptable to the IRS?
I would imagine. I mean, as long
Okay.
as it produces what they're looking for. Those gadgets, they cost money, right? Like, I'm not familiar because I've never used
Oh,
them.
I think they're downloadable apps in
Are
some
they
cases.
downloadable apps?
Yes, yes.
As long, I'm not familiar with how they go, but just know, whoever you are, that you need a legible receipt.
Okay, and also I think it's similar to apps that can track your mileage, where you don't
Mhm,
have to write that down. You can download an app. I mean, I haven't used that myself, but I have
mhm.
heard that they exist and people use them.
Right.
We
And
have,
that's another thing with the mileage. Like, you may forget to jot your mileage down. You have to, at some point, you have to write it down in your app or somewhere. You know what I mean? But you may forget. You may forget
hmm
to do that. However, if you keep a calendar of your activity, your mileage is on your calendar,
okay,
because
okay.
whatever address you travel to, that's the mileage you use. So, if you have a calendar, you can figure your mileage without having those apparatuses.
Oh, this is all so good. But as I mentioned, tonight's episode is brought to you by the 30-day self awareness journal. And so, why don't I just go ahead and pay some bills right now? Is that okay? And we'll be right back. How about that?
All right.
That's if I can find out where we are, huh? These are, after all, paid advertisements. So let's get your guide to boost your emotional intelligence today. Thank you. And folks, those of you who are interested in getting that 30-day self awareness journal, a boost to guide your emotional intelligence, I should say, a guide to boost your emotional intelligence, you can go to my website, www.easinthec-suite.com/shop, and you can pre order now. So thank you. I think we had more questions. Just let me check, Verna, one moment. Let's see. Okay, there's a question here. Um, what's the best tax break with the W-4?
The W-4.
The
You
W-4.
mean,
The
okay.
W-4 is for a 9 to 5er, right?
The W-4 is the statement you use to determine how many exemptions you're going to claim.
Oh, okay.
Is that what they mean?
So it just says what's the best tax break with the W-4.
Yeah. So,
So
your W-4 basically is telling, your organization, the company you work for, how much taxes you want them to withhold. And so, if you're single and you have a child, you would want to put that on there, how many exemptions, how many, children you're responsible for, your family that you're responsible for taking care of. But what we know is that the more exemptions you claim, the less taxes they're going to remove, so that you're able to take care of your family throughout the year. Okay. And so the less exemptions you claim, the more taxes they're going to withhold, I guess, because you don't have nobody to take care of. So basically, they don't withhold a lot. It depends on how much you claim. So there's no tax break. What you can do also on your W-4 is add, like, say, they're not taking out enough withholdings on you. Your federal withholdings is just not enough. Maybe you still owed, or maybe you didn't get enough of a refund back. Well, then on that W-4 near the end, you can just write in a money amount for how much additional you would like for them to withhold. And then that'll increase your withholdings in lieu of increasing it by an exemption or taking one away.
okay, there was another question here. This is interesting question. How long should you keep old tax forms?
Yeah. So the IRS, they have like 10 years to collect. If you have a balance due account, they have 10 years to collect. So this is how it goes. Say you get a refund, right? And then so in 2021, in 2020, you got a refund. Okay. Say they audited you, and now you owe money, okay, for 2020. Well, they have 10 years to collect that money from you. So you would want to hold your 2020 for at least that amount of time, your information. Because guess what? You don't even know when you're going to get audited. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when it's going to come up because they got 10 years from the time that they assess you to collect. And then they have 10 years.
So, a couple of questions. In light of the pandemic and the various funds that were the the pandemic unemployment, for instance, I guess in some cases there may have been mortgage help or rental assistance. Does those funds have an impact on income tax?
Not that we're aware of at this time.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
we haven't heard any, how the people would be impacted that did receive that. You
Okay. So let's also talk about, as entrepreneurs, the various people we may have working with us and for us. And these people may not be full time employees, they may have a classification of contractor. Talk about that.
So the independent contractors is the best. Woo-hoo! So I am an independent contractor, and that's because after 30 years of service, I retired. I went on a fixed income, and yet I still wanted money, but I didn't want a 9 to 5. I wanted freedom of time, and I wanted freedom of money. And that's what an independent contracting position gave me. Now, Karren, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but an independent contractor, we are not employees. We own our own, we own our licenses, we own our business and all of that. We're not employees of the company that we're contracting out of.
Well, I was thinking of it more, and that wasn't exactly what I was asking, but that was a good answer. For some, I'm sure. I was asking that question more so for the entrepreneur who may have several independent contractors. Now, I think I've heard how several independent contractors can raise red flags for the IRS, and that in their definition, if the individual does not have complete control over their time, in other words, I want you here 3 times a week, 10 to 4, does not necessarily constitute the classification of independent
Independent.
contractor, because
That's true.
I'm dictating when you come and go as opposed to you having more control over your own schedule.
Right. And so there is some talk about reclassifying independent contractors. That's true. Um, and if the company is telling you when you can come and go, you're not an independent contractor. So you may turn into an employee for that company. But that's something that they're trying to do. And God only knows why, but it's a blessing to be an independent contractor.
And it's a blessing on both sides, to you and to the entrepreneur, let's say, who needs a social media manager, or who needs a part-time executive assistant, or who needs a writer. um, they don't necessarily want those individuals full time, benefits, full salary. They just need part time hours. But
Mhm.
yeah, and maybe because of the popularity of it, or maybe the Internal Revenue feel that people are taking advantage of that classification, so they want to
Mhm.
put controls on it.
Yeah, but who are they referring to? You know what I'm saying? Because I work for a big company as an independent contractor, and then as an entrepreneur, I work for myself. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And what proof do I have? Well, I provided a service and you paid me. You know what I mean? And so I reported it.
But they not telling you what time you have to work. You work
No.
on your own schedule, and I
Yeah,
think that's the
that's what
big
it
difference
is. You work
there.
on your own schedule. That's how it should be. That's an independent contractor. And this isn't new throughout the years. There have always been the issue where they try to recategorize someone as a non-employee that filed as a non-employee to an employee. It's always been the issue. So it's not
Okay.
new.
So I think you provided us with some good information. I'm just double checking to see if we've overlooked any other questions. I thank you all for tuning in tonight. I know this is an interesting topic and a necessary topic too. Let's not leave that out. Um, but Verna, let me ask: is there anything else you want to share with our audience tonight on tax preparation? I think you talked about the car. You what else did you say were some of your top some of the top benefits of being an entrepreneur that would give you write-offs um, as a business owner on your taxes? Did we cover all of those?
Of course, it's a lot more, but the biggest was your home, your ignition, and the vacation.
Okay.
But of course there's other stuff that you can report that you do for your business, like Miss Karren here is big on coaching and training and continual education. That kind of stuff that you do for you to improve your business is a write-off. So
Okay.
there's a lot of different things that you can write off, and it's clear when you go in to do your taxes, and that's why it's so easy for me to show you how to do your own taxes. But I'm always here. I'm always available. That's my heart, is just to help someone else. I'm not doing this for free, but I'm not trying to break anybody's bank or anything like that. But I think it's a disgrace that you work all year, pay taxes all year, and then when it's time to receive your refund check, you got to pay thousands of dollars to get your money. And I think that's not right. It's very unfair. We all work hard, and you know, I want to help you in your endeavors.
Well, one thing I certainly appreciate you, and even though I've taken major steps to do my own tax preparation, I still appreciate that with your guidance. Certainly your record keeping, that has been an education for me, and there are still times that I myself may overlook something. You told me something recently that I didn't know, and that was the fees on PayPal. Those fees you can write off, basically. Did I say that right? Or they can be deducted as an expense on your income tax?
Mm. So, what kind of fees are they, though, Karren?
Their
I don't
fees.
remember the conversation.
Okay, so these are fees that PayPal charge. Um, PayPal charge. Well, the fee that they take for a transaction, if it's goods and services, I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
Hmm. I don't know about that.
Okay, so maybe I got that
I
from the
don't think I
wind,
told you that.
or what somebody else. I,
I
I
don't think I
stand
told you
corrected, no problem. But I thought someone told us that the fees are deducted
that.
for that they charge. But anyway, that's something we can look in further. I understand
Yeah.
there was another question here. We got the best tax break with the W-4 as a small business owner. The best way to save receipts. What if you talk business when you go out? We covered all of that. How long should you keep receipts? Um, Sheila, if you could put the question, or Judith, if you could put the question in, if I overlooked it, I'll certainly put it to Verna. I cannot think of, I cannot see any additional questions that we haven't already covered. But at any rate, it has been a pleasure having you here tonight. And the information you shared is, I'm sure, of value to the majority of our audience. Um, as my dear friend, tax well, semi tax preparer and record keeper. I am pleased to have you here tonight, and I certainly can vouch for your services and the quality and value of them. And the truth of the matter is, I'm sure just with IRS 30 years in your profile, that would give a lot of people some ease and assurance. This woman knows what she's doing. You think? Are you still with me, my dear? I have lost your
I think
audio.
so. And I just want to let everyone know that if your tax,
You
yes,
went out
can
and
you hear
okay.
me?
Now, yeah, but repeat yourself because it was cut up.
Oh, wow. I wonder why. I haven't touched it.
You're good now.
Am I going now?
No, you're good.
Am I back?
Yes.
So, oh yeah, I just want to say that if your accountant has,
Okay.
what I wanted to,
Uh, it's breaking up again.
okay. So what I wanted to say is that if your accountant has not taken into consideration all the breaks that you are entitled to, if you are running a home-based business, okay.
You're out altogether now, Vern. I'm not sure what happened. I think we're having technical difficulties on your end. Or maybe there's an accountant in the audience who didn't want you to continue.
I
Want to
was
try it again?
thinking
I'm
internet, I
sorry.
guess. Then
It's still out. I don't know what happened exactly.
why I have no clue why.
Well, at any rate, Verna, if we could give our audience your website and your email, any questions they may have, they didn't get a chance to ask tonight. If they, okay, are you back?
Am I back?
Yes, you are
Am I
now.
back?
Yes,
I'm still not back. How do I get back?
I can hear you. I hear you just fine. Okay, I tell you what, folks, I am going to let's see if I can put Sheila, if you're there, could you put Verna's email in the chat? Let's just put Ms. V Johnson number one at yahoo.com. We certainly know that she can be reached via that email. And we'll also, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Let's see.
Am I?
Yes,
Am I back?
yes, yes.
Okay, great.
So
And
I
so,
gave
can
your,
you hear me clear?
yes, yes,
Okay, you wanted my email?
yes. And you're gone again. But at any rate, folks, we are coming to an end of Karen's Carrots.
It's vernacular services. It's been, no, no, that's not it. That's not my yeah, mm, that's not it. That's okay. It's vernacularservices@gmail.com.
Okay.
It's vernacularservices@gmail.com. That's the
That's
email.
fine. We heard that just fine, and I can certainly put it in the comments even once we're off. So, folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to Karen's Carrots tonight. We really appreciate you joining us on Thursdays at 7, and we strive. Okay, so as I said, thank you all for being here. We look forward to seeing you next week for Karen's Carrots at 7 to bring you more information and to keep you informed in a variety of topics. Again, I am Karen at easinthec-suite.com. We do have that journal available for pre-order. 30-day self-awareness journal, a guide to boost your emotional intelligence. And once again, thank you so much for being here. Verna, I thank you for being here, providing us much needed tax information. We have what, 3 more months to get it together before it's time to prepare it for the big man, right? And we'll do that. But if you need to get in touch with Verna, I'll put her information, vernacular services, in the chat, and you can contact her there. For me, if you want to call and have a consultation, just go to my website, easinthec-suite.com, and you can click on schedule a call. I'd be more than happy to talk with you. Take care. Thanks again. See you next week. Bye. Thank you, Verna.